Right, the coordinates of the points D and E are 6, 2, 4, minus 4, 14 respectively. We calculate the length of DE. So, we'll call this our first coordinate here. We can call this our second coordinate. So the length of DE, okay, so we use that formula again, difference in x's all squared plus difference in y's all squared. Then we're going to square root the whole thing. Okay, so if this is my second coordinate, right, x2 take away x1, so x2 is minus 4, take away x1 which is 6, y2 which is 14, take away y1 which is 22, all squared. So get my calculator, let's just do all this on my calculator. So minus 4 minus 6 all squared plus 14 minus 22 all squared, and we get out straight away our answers in the form they want. So 2 root 41. Okay. Part B then says find the equation of the straight line perpendicular to DE that passes through the midpoint of DE. Okay, so lots of things sort of going on here. Okay, first of all, it says about the midpoint of DE, so we could do that, couldn't we? We could work that out there. Well, actually, lastly it says that, doesn't it? And there's lots of things before it. So let's work out the midpoint of DE. Okay, now we've got the coordinates of D and E up here. To get the midpoint, okay, to get in the middle of these two, it's like getting the average, isn't it? The mean average to get in the middle. So to get the mean, you add them up and divide by how many are there. And that's the same to get the middle, isn't it? You add the x values up and divide by 2. Okay? And to get the middle y value, you add the y values up, divide by 2. So if I add these x values here, I've got 6 and minus 4. So 6 add minus 4, okay, over 2. And then the y value is 22 add 14 over 2. So when I work this out on my calculator, let's do the x value first. Now 6 plus minus just becomes a minus, isn't it? So the middle value is 1. And the middle value there, well, we've got 36 on the top, divided by 2 is 18. Okay, so 18 is between 22 and 14. Okay, so equation of the straight line perpendicular to DE. Okay, so suppose this is DE here. We want the straight line, okay, which is perpendicular. Now perpendicular means it's at right angles to DE, and it passes through the midpoint. So there's the midpoint there. It's basically this. That's the line we want, okay, and it passes through the midpoint. So it passes through this point here, 118, which we've just worked out. Now to get an equation of this line, we need a point. So it goes through that point, so we can use that point, but we also need the gradient. But we don't want the gradient of DE, we want the gradient which is perpendicular to DE. But the first thing I would do is I work out the gradient of DE, okay, because I know what DE is. So gradient of DE, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Difference in y's over difference in x's. So let's have a look at what my DE were again. So y2, 14, y1 is 22, so 14 take away 22. Okay, y2 take away y1 over x2 take away x1, so minus 4 minus 6. So if I work that out on my calculator, that comes out to be 4 over 5. Okay, and that's the gradient of DE, but I want the one that's perpendicular to DE, so remember you've got to use that result, m1, m2 equals minus 1. So put 4/5 in. And then, of course, to get m2, take that 5 up there and times, take the 4 over and divide, so you get minus 5 over 4. Okay, so now I know the gradient of this perpendicular line is minus 5 over 4. And quite simply then, to get the equation, use the equation formula. So you sub in then these points, so 18 for y, 1 for x, and we get this. So we're using that point that it goes through. Then to simplify this, because we've got to get in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0, take the 4 up there, I would, because we're dividing by 4, take it up, so we've got 4 bracket y minus 18 equals minus 5x minus 1. Times through these brackets, I'm running out of room here, so I'll do it up here, so times through, so you get 4y minus 72 equals minus 5x, and then that will be plus 5 when you times through by minus 5, yeah? Get everything then onto the left hand side, so we want it in the form, remember that form there? So take that minus 5x over, so it becomes 5x, you've got plus 4y, you've got minus 72, but when you take that 5 over, it'll be minus 5 as well, so that'll be minus 77 equals 0. And we've done, we got it in the form they want.